Hey guys, it's Uncertain Nighttime. Today we're going to be ranking Resident Evil 9 bosses. If you've seen my review of the game, you'll know that I think the bosses in this game suck and are some of the worst in the series. I wouldn't say any are flat out horrible, but they're all just kind of mid and too easy. To be honest, I'm not even sure of what classifies as a boss in this game because a lot of them feel like mini bosses. I was debating, do I count special infected? Do I count the roaming stalker enemies? And I just kind of decided to count the ones that are necessary for mainline story progression. So as always, these are just my opinions. If you guys agree or disagree, let me know down in the comments. And also let me know what is your favorite Resident Evil boss. So without further ado, let's get into it.
But I cannot see, I'm legally blind.
In 8th and last place, we have the girl, otherwise known as Marie or the Shadow Ghost. She's a roaming stalker enemy that follows Grace around for most of the care clinic. And some people would even consider this a fight. I mean, the combat is really bare bones, if at all. And it's more of a set piece than a fight, but I would consider it a boss. So you're in the basement of the care clinic and you work on cranking these levers in order to open up the hatch above, which lets in a lot of light and enough to kill her. I believe you have to crank like 3 levers before you can make it back up. And they're in the same spot as always. I mean, once you do this fight once, you already know what to do for all the playthroughs, so it makes it not replayable at all. There's these lights, portable lights throughout that you can turn on to temporarily stun her. Or you can use Requiem ammo, which I think it takes 1 to stun on standard difficulty, and like 2, 3, or 4 to stun on insanity. I actually think the earlier section of the game where you have those 3 fuses or batteries or whatever, they can use to power up certain rooms and prevent her from coming in or light up the area for puzzles and stuff was a lot better of a section. I just think there was more dynamics there, and I kind of wish that was the last part of the game with her. Yeah, I mean, it's barely a boss fight, which is why it's deserving of last place.
I'm on that good cushion alcohol.
At number 7, we have Plant 43. Honestly, I feel like people aren't really talking about this boss. I mean, I've been watching reviews, and it's just kind of a forgettable one, but I think it's a cool Resident Evil 2 reference. It's a very atmospheric descent when you take the zipline down inside the crater of Raccoon City, and then you end up in these like crumbled, like dark corridors where there's these plants that just whip out at you and attack very quickly. They're annoying, but I like them, and I think they have a sick design with the black and dark gray and red. Once you get through that area, you go, and the fight is basically, you know, the giant enemy trope where it's like the giant enemy with a platform that you have to stand on and kill them from it. The fight's not that exciting. You just kind of move left to right and avoid the vines that are slamming down, and then you shoot the Venus flytrap head when it's open. It's really reminiscent of Salazar from the original Resident Evil 4, so it's something really too new. When you do enough damage, you're able to shoot a red explosive canister that sets the boss aflame and ends up killing it.
Sorry, but I don't have time to spare. Have fun.
In 6th place, I put Mr. X. Yup, he's back, and some might be surprised he's this low, but I don't think he's anything special. So Zeno the Wesker clone sends them after you, and then a short chase sequence in the RPD ensues before you lose him. And literally like 2 seconds later, he finds you again, and then he chucks this missile at you.
Fuck me.
Then you fight him in the most boring arena of all time, which is just an empty parking lot. He's in mutated tyrant form with the swole steroid arms and has a weak point right in his chest, so you don't need to use an RPG this time. I think this fight is boring, and there's not really much to it. I mean, he flips cards at you, but wherever those land are kind of RNG, and it gets frustrating sometimes. I think the only redeemable aspect is that you can now parry his lunge attack, which is really satisfying. I think it shows Leon's growth from rookie cop to a badass.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm licking it.
At number 5, we have H.U.N.K, or Chunk's brother. This is a fight I actually really surprisingly enjoyed. You fight one of the H.U.N.K brothers as Leon in the attic of the care clinic, and they basically follow you around the claustrophobic corridors, and their fat asses breaking through doorways and causing the attic to fall apart. And from a gameplay perspective, it's great because it opens up new pathways or rooms that contain ammo or medical supplies. And it even opens up balconies that you can climb up and execute a jumping hatchet attack from, which is sick. So yeah, I surprisingly like this fight more than usual, but there's still not much to it, so it only lands at number 5.
Who are you?
Oh, forgive me. Dr. Victor
Gideon. I run this center.
Fourth place we have Dr. Victor Gideon. So Dr. Gideon is the main antagonist of the game, and I did like him. At the start of the game he had so much presence and aura, but then he later fucks off until the end of the game. I think it's pretty underwhelming for a final boss too. So the first phase is fun. Gideon has this mutated T-virus arm, which in my opinion I think is kind of a lame design, to be honest. I wish they committed to his snake appearance and done something like that. But he attacks you with a number of swings that are parryable. And he also gains tentacles and starts utilizing purple lightning attacks, which have great sound effects, or visual effects, sorry, and are really fun to dodge. He can also pull out an RPG that if you shoot it out of his hand, you can use it to end the first phase. What brings him down is his second phase, which is what's so irredeemable. So it turns out he's a nemesis, or has like the nemesis virus, and it comes a bit out of left field, but okay, I mean he kind of had to build. You then fight a Flesh Wall Nemesis, which is basically a copy-paste of Resident Evil 3 Remake's final boss, and I just think it's inexcusable and lazy. Fight even mechanically plays out similar to the plant one just before it, where you're just dodging left and right arms. Really sucks for a final boss.
Is that the Grim Reaper?
At number 3 we have H.U.N.K, and it turns out they brought him back in this game, which was unexpected, but I think it's fun seeing such an iconic and mysterious character make a return. The fight's essentially an underbaked Krauser fight that's for the most part parry only. I enjoyed it, the animations are sick, and the back and forth between Leon and H.U.N.K is satisfying to watch. I think my main issue is just that parries in this game feel clunky and not as refined as Resident Evil 4 remakes. In that game you use a knife which is quicker, and I feel like the feedback when you parry is more satisfying. Like the sparks just seem cooler to get. At a certain point, H.U.N.K also tears a gas canister to smoke up the area and then sneaks around and strikes at you, which I think is pretty scary and neat. There's been some debate on whether it's actually H.U.N.K or some clone because they're called the Commander. I'm not sure it's the same, he even has the same neck choke animation. Fun fact, if you revisit the area after his boss fight, apparently his body goes missing, which allows people to cope that he's still alive. One thing to note though is when you finally kill him, Leon makes some remark that it was a tough fight. Which is funny because I played on standard normal my first playthrough and it was dirt easy. Killed him in like less than a minute. So that kind of fell off, but I heard he's a demon on insanity.
Ow!
I'll damn you good, you filthy bug!
Why won't you love me, Dad? I'll be anything you want me to be!
I want you to be dead!
At number 2 we have the Spider, or the Titan Spinner I believe it's called. And now we're getting into the bosses that I think are actually good. That being said, the best bosses of this game are still like a B or low A tier and others. When you return to Raccoon City, Leon is ambushed by this giant spider, which is horrifying and a great callback to the original Resident Evil. You're then chased through broken down buildings and have to use your axe to cut down webs. The fight plays a lot like the H.U.N.K boss fight. Give you this set arena in which you have to kite the boss around and shoot the weak spot on the back of the thorax or abdomen or whatever the fuck it's called. I think it's better than the fight though because you can actually see the giant spider climbing around all the walls, and the sounds it makes are really sick too. There's also these little baby spiders that crawl out, which is a nice little touch. Overall a great fight, and it felt like a true Resident Evil boss, and I wish others had gotten similar treatment. So at my number 1, and potentially controversial, I have the Blisterborne. So hear me out, I think the fight's great. It's a big and strong foe that on its own does normal moves such as swinging its arms or charges at you. But it has these spores or blood sacs on its body that are satisfying to shoot and pop. Popping them with zombies nearby causes them to turn into blister heads, which increases the difficulty by making it intense but not cheesy gang fight. If I had to describe it, I'd say it's really intense, and the inflamed church as the arena really adds to that as well. You also fight one later in the East Raccoon City area where you have that wheel that you turn, and then it moves that wall and then the thing's right there. It's a bit of a jump scare, I won't lie. But yeah, in the roster of weaker nominees, I personally think the Blisterborne was my favorite, and the best boss of the game. So that's the list. Let me know down below if you guys agree with my ranking or disagree, if you'd switch any places. To be honest, I wasn't that crazy about any of the bosses in this game, so I'm not going to take it personally. But as always, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys later.